Hello, mutants. I'm Mutisha, the movie goddess, and you're watching Mutant TV.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Mutantville.com's Collector's Corner. Today we're going to be unboxing some posters, a really fantastic haul from our good friend Artisan Pro, aka Midnight Scream Fest. As many of you might know from the previous unboxing videos, probably my #1 source for rare original horror one-sheets. So, in addition to that, we went on a little bit of a VHS expedition yesterday, and I'm going to share some of the finds because I think they were pretty cool, and as always, I paid next to nothing for them. So, firstly, let's jump into the VHS, then we'll transition over to the awesome posters we have for today. Okay, so yesterday, I just was checking out some cool videos on a couple of other YouTube shows that cover the same topic, basically VHS collecting, and I happened upon this VH hit list with an S, and checked out a bunch of their videos and got kind of excited again about VHS collecting via the various places, eBay, a couple of different direct suppliers, and then flea markets. Nowadays, flea markets, you never know. I mean, you can definitely roll in there and find some that have just pure crap that you wouldn't want to have in your collection. And then you might find a booth that has tons of rare stuff. I checked out a place, I think it's called Old Town Market in Albemarle. This place is designed like, literally, the building is designed like a rat maze. It's several different retail outlets inside of a large building that were at one time separate, and they've all been kind of like doors cut here and there, and it's really a honeycomb experience. And they have all kinds of vendors there. I mean, literally everything you can imagine. Swords, furniture, signs, clothing, makeup, comic books, ceramics. I mean, it's crazy the variety of stuff. I actually found a room yesterday full of 8-track tapes. Get out! They have all these tiny little rooms. And I was really blown away by that, because I literally have never in this area came across a huge haul of 8-tracks, because that's actually way more old school than Johnny Brento. So, not that I've never rode in a car with an 8-track, but I'm just saying that wasn't my day. So I ran into that room. It had like albums, VHS, books, and a huge amount of 8-track tapes. And I was like, shut the front door! Couldn't believe it. It was awesome. But anyway, what I did find there was probably 4 or 5 different booths with VHS, most of which were total crap. But I stumbled upon one like book cabinet full of VHS. And I knew, actually, a couple of titles caught my eye, and I got into it, and I started to notice that the subject matter of all the VHS was horror and sci-fi, which, as you know, who's a big horror and sci-fi fan? This guy. So, yeah, I just dug into it and took my time and went through it, and actually discovered a couple of gems, which I'm going to share with you now. Okay, so, check out this. It's the uncensored investigation of the Curse of the Blair Witch Project. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the hour-long build up to the Blair Witch Project, whereby they were passing it off to be real. It originally aired on Sci-Fi Network, I think, among others, and it's the additional documentary footage explaining the phenomenon of the Blair Witch Project. Of course, I have dubious copies of the Blair Witch itself. But this right here, this is what makes it special. This is what makes the Blair Witch special, the fact that people bought into this and believed it. And, the Blair Witch, it's one of those films that initially, it was a little bit off-putting to me, because, that whole cinema verite, that was my introduction to it. And but, like, I look back on it now as truly, like, a kind of genius, And, of course, it spawned this whole revolution where everybody's trying to do cinema verite and the whole found footage, which, if you know your MVP, even we incorporated that concept into our latest feature called Ghost. You can check out that trailer here, or down below. But yeah, we actually incorporate the found footage concept. Although they just go with one, it wouldn't be MVP if we just duplicated what somebody else did. We have 4 or 5 various types of media inside the same film. So you'll see kind of POV through a newsman's camera, through just a found footage type setup, and various forms of hallucinatory vision and flashbacks. So yeah, check that out. You can learn all about Ghost on Mutantville.com. We also have a fan page for Ghost. But I digress. Moving right along, we're not talking about Ghost right now. We're talking about Blair Witch. Actually, we're talking about my VHS finds. So anyway, I'm really stoked because I've never seen this since the very first airing of it. So, and I also have never rewatched Blair Witch, which is crazy. Like I'm really about ready to sit down and watch this, Blair Witch, and Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, which is not so much related to the original, story, stylistically speaking. It's just a typical horror movie. But I actually thought it wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed it when I did rent it years ago, and I've never owned it. But now I have Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, and I paid $1 for that. So I'm just going to shift the pile over here as we go through them. I'm going to save the best for last. Here's something cool looking called The Mangler 2. Never saw The Mangler 1, but the art looks intriguing. And, yeah, it's a terrifying new chapter in The Mangler Legacy. Didn't know there was a Mangler Legacy, but apparently there was. Man on Fire. Now, I don't know if this is the original film that Denzel Washington did a remake of. But I do know it's got Scott Glenn looking like a badass, agent type, whatever. And Scott Glenn's awesome. I've never seen him in a movie I didn't like, so pick that up. I already had a copy of this, but, hey, it was $1, and I just have a sentimental love for the goofiness that is the Scanners franchise, so I got that. Something called The Last Man on the Planet. Looks like a cheap sci-fi drama. Says, in the future, men are the endangered species. And that made me think it might be some sort of cybernetic thing. And there's pictures on the back that show a girl with a really cool looking cybernetic implant. So, or it looks like a cybernetic implant, and I'm all about that. So, Biohazard. This just looks too cheesy to pass up. Biohazard, it feeds on human flesh. Don't want to get too caught up because we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Teenage Caveman, and the makeup looked kick-ass on the back, so that's why I got that. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. All these, by the way, didn't pay any more than $1. Giga Shadows, wow, this is just so crazy looking. It's got a giant spider head on the fly head with eyes on the back of it, and it's got a friend of MVP, Malcolm McDowell. Actually, we just each paid him $20 to sign our poster. But yeah, it was a cool experience getting to meet the legend. Something called The Frightening, which I originally, when I saw it, I thought it was The Frighteners, but then the makeup was intriguing and looks like some sort of like fraternity cult film. The Day the World Ended. Sometimes quiet little boys have terrifying secrets. I don't even want to know. It has a cool looking creature on the back of it, though. I don't know if that one will ever get watched, but hey. High Spirits, which is a comedy with Daryl Hannah, but it has an awesome looking ghost/zombie makeup on the back of it. So hey, $1. This, I have no idea what it is. It's called Bog. A creature from the glacial age awakens to kill, kill, and kill again. Now that sounds like some Cthulhu shit right there. So that sucked me in, and it has a really intriguing illustration on the front of it. So I thought, hey, $1 to find out what that's all about. That is my kind of bargain. Okay, now this is extremely, extremely rare and hard to find a VHS. Unfortunately, the box is cut to hell. It is a slipcase box that's had the top and the side cover part of the slip box cut off, but it still has the original art. Now I'll tell you my plan. I'm going to take this and slip it in the front of one of those like black hard shell cases that I'm sure I have around here. But it's called The Archer, Fugitive from the Empire, which was a TV pilot, an hour and 37-minute TV pilot for a series. It's cheesy, cheesy, cheesy as hell. but the concept, it's kind of a warriors and wizards sort of thing. This guy has this magical bow handed down to him, which he's learning to use, and it shoots little bolts of light. He's chased by this evil empire, and they have all kinds of cool henchmen, lizard men, streams of acid, that run across the land. And these are just a few of the things that I recall from it. But I saw it on TV, and I was instantly enamored because I was right at that age for that sort of thing. That whole Conan vibe was a big deal to me. So for years and years and years, I looked for a cheap copy of this. And eventually I had to resort to downloading it just to see it again. But I really, really wanted a copy of it. And now I have it. This sucker goes, you can see there it has the original label on it. And it was a blockbuster tape. So that blows my mind because I've searched for in Blockbuster online. Blockbuster a while back had this thing where if they didn't have a movie in the store, they could order it from their archive or whatever and have it shipped to your store or whatever. And they didn't have this film. I checked on it, and they didn't have this film, so this must go way back. The douchebags, though, when they cut the side off here, they tape, and it's actually taped over the label, so I'm hoping that I can get that out without damaging that label. But this will go in a hard case in the collection. It's a rare tape. I've seen it go for as much as $100. Actually, I think I saw one listed for $150 on Amazon.com. That's crazy. This guy will never pay that for a VHS. VHS aren't worth that. And on that note, I could just delve into a huge rant for people that are charging, upwards of $50 to $100 on rare big box horror. Guys, it's not worth that. It's not worth that to your average collector, and that's what most of us are. We're not going to put thousands of dollars into this hobby.